Okay, let's get started then. So, what transpired this month? Lots of. I'm looking at my merge stuff. Lots of stuff happened on the notification front. We got rid of the notification table yesterday. All the errors are now showing up. Also made some changes in the way the notification URL is displayed for communities. Before the URL linked to like the training page of the community instead of the community itself. The community moderator has been set in place. Now that now the entire team can see the team level notifications. So for set props and flag post, we synced up with the PICD team so that they implement the functionality as well. So and Hive blog already has the functionality, so we can answer. Probably should DM Ecency to see if they have anything. So that's been done. The only thing missing on the notification front, I think, is just adding the support for community types 2 and 3. You know, where a community is type 2, like only members can post into it. Right now, if someone posts into it, they get muted immediately and they don't really get notification for that, which is kind of bad UX, so I need to change this. The issue is that because this has been done after, the issue. Basically, all of this is written in SQL, so I need to make sure that this works directly from the SQL. And I don't think we have a helper function to add a new notification, so maybe I'll write that, or maybe I'll just add like an extra insert into it. That's TBD. I haven't looked into it that much yet. On top of it, a question for you guys is there a version of Hafa that goes beyond 17.10? Because I know we have a new stable version that goes to 11, and I'd like to update like the mesh API to use the 11 version of the whole stack. But because I compile everything from Hafa, I can't really do that.
So just to be, I guess I should mention right off the bat, the current version of HiveMind is predicated on using the current developed version. The current developed version of HiveMind is predicated on using the current developed version of Hafa.
Oh, okay. So develop is stable?
Yes.
Ah, okay. But it's not tagged.
So it's just not tagged. I
Okay.
basically try to keep all the developed versions of the apps
Aligned,
in
yeah.
half working together. So, I mean, it doesn't always happen, of course, but
Yeah.
that's the intent. If I find a problem, it should get fixed quite quickly. So I'm kind of at the stage now where I'm starting to run. I wouldn't say pre-release. Probably pre-release is the proper term. These aren't release candidates, but I'm doing pre-release runs of the entire stack to check out everything before we. I think we'll probably tag a release candidate quite soon, next couple of weeks.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. At this point, like all the notifications that were like created but never implemented now should make its way to the users as soon as like all the API nodes update to the thing. So I'm kind of waiting like a month, 2 month-ish to see like the public perception of it and see like what they see is missing, what they found confusing, to tweak it as we go. But I don't expect that much work coming that way. So yeah, that's pretty good.
I actually had one question. So if I might have misunderstood you, but I think you were saying something like we have a new type of community where only you can't post to it unless you're a member. And so,
yeah,
is that right? So if I'm posting the post call itself, the thing that creates the post, of course, is a first layer activity.
yeah.
So the post, I suppose, gets created, but because HiveMind can't really reject it, but it doesn't get added to the community, I guess. Is that the way it works? What exactly happens to that post?
It's added to the community, but it shows up immediately as muted. Then it doesn't show.
Okay.
But like as
Got
moderator, if like you So that means that as a moderator, if
So you just
you
want a notification to the moderator so that he's aware that people are posting muted posts. Is that
like, and that's like an open discussion, right? Either
because
we,
maybe they get annoyed with having all those
yeah,
notifications.
because like I can totally see that like, but technically this shouldn't happen because like front ends should prevent this, and so it's only people who like use like a different front
Like
end
a
or
bot
something
or
like
something.
this that then
Yeah.
I think there is like a broader set of APIs where we should be able, like we should perhaps think of a way to, as a moderator, to like mute a certain person from giving you notifications.
Hmm.
Like right now, there is already like a notification score thing.
So we could just use the normal mute table, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they are already muted that way, right?
yeah, I understand. Like I think if you set a member, we could. No, maybe that's already
Yeah,
the
I mean,
case.
if you mute a member, if you mute an account, it'll be muted from your notifications too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Um, but also, we could make it that if a person is muted from a community, then they shouldn't be able to trigger any notification from that
Yeah.
community.
Yeah. Right. That's right. That's a separate muting. That's true.
I mean, there is a bunch of things to, but like, so yeah, basically, if someone does this, I think the user should get a notification first and foremost,
Yes.
as in like, hey, this is the reason you're muted. Because if, like, let's say I'm posting from a random front end that is not like fully feature complete, I might post like 10 times into a community and feel like the moderators don't like me because they keep I keep getting muted.
Yeah, but I mean, it almost feels like that should be the front end should just be fixed rather than.
I
I
know.
mean, because you're talking about making. I mean, forcing a backend notification. It's for something that legitimately shouldn't be happening at all. So I'm not sure we're not wasting
Yeah,
effort
that's fair
on
enough.
that.
But also, it's not going to be that many notifications at the end of the day.
Is there a level above muting? Like for instance, if there's a serial abuser, is muting the final step? Is there like a
Muting is pretty
blacklist?
severe.
Yeah,
You've basically not seen it all.
yeah. Muting is the lowest there.
Okay, and the person who is doing the abusing, whoever is doing it, like unknowingly, is getting the notification which states you're muted because you're not part of the community. Is that it?
When you get muted, you can get a payload on top. Like when you mute someone, you can be like, hey, your role got set to muted.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So it's the same thing like having the inbuilt blacklist system that you have on Hive
Pretty much, yeah. But per community.
per community. Okay, okay, that's cool. Is there an endpoint that you can freely use for each community, or is it just for a certain community?
Yeah, you can fetch the roles for a community, and you can see basically. I'll fetch the endpoint later for you if you want, and you can
Uh,
basically get everyone's role in the community. So everyone from moderator to member to muted. I think you may
oh,
be able
okay.
to
That
filter.
is there any documentation you guys can direct me to?
Yeah,
Please, thank you.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, yeah, please, thank you.
But yeah, that's pretty much it on my end. If nobody has questions, feel free to step in.
The only thing I'm worried about is the transition phase when we will have very different API endpoints. But from what I understand, it's like handled because the old APIs want to just have those new feature of new communities, and if some service provider won't update front end and back end, at worst case, they will just see in the community something that other people won't see, right?
That's okay. I mean, the new community thing is like from a year and a half ago, so everyone is updated now. The
Yeah, yeah. I just see how quickly people update their witness nodes.
yeah, true. I mean,
127.11 is from a year.
I mean as far as I know, everyone has updated to the newer version, and like worst case, basically if someone uses like an old thing, the new like a community of like a different type will simply not be recognized as a community, so you basically don't get access to it at all. As for the notifications, I guess then they just don't get the notifications, so it's not as big as a thing. And and also like it's kind of like an incentive thing. Like if because everyone has a choice to change their API nodes. If like their favorite community is simply not accessible from like the node that hasn't been updated in 2 years, I feel like that's a good enough reason to then look into how to update it.
Okay. No more questions about that. I guess I'll go next. So I guess just speaking about timelines.
Oh, I'm sorry. One
yeah,
more thing, because
Sure,
the
absolutely.
one thing is not clear for me, because how about the changing communities? Because that's something that between the types of communities, it's related to the account name.
I didn't think we had a way to change them.
We actually do. You can change the type of the community.
But that means a lot of troubles.
Not really. Why?
Yeah, because we assumed that type 1 is something that starts at hive-1.
Yeah, but basically, at the time, the discussion was that, yeah, but then I made my community very successful. And I want to switch to a different type of community because, for whatever reason, I want to be more members on it, etc. It's like you shouldn't have to force your entire community to stay.
You need to move.
Yeah, but then you changed the like foundation rule of such community, and what in the opposite way? You can like lock community or unlock it, and it might be very undesired.
I mean, I'd rather have more options than less options at the end of the day. As far as I know, nobody has changed their community type. But also, like initially, like the paradigm where the first number defines the community type. I mean, early on, there was only one type of community, so it's more like a digit than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the whole thing's a trade-off.
Yeah, the thing is, I really don't want to force communities to migrate into like a whole different community and lose all of their post history. And you could argue that then you could like create a migration process, but like that's so much more work than just like being able to change the number in the database. But I totally see your point.
I still got sound, I think.
We hear you okay.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, it's not good, so
It's not a crowd meeting, is it?
Yeah, that was really good sound, but only one way.
Very deep sound, yeah.
Yes.
If Fluctuate doesn't have an issue with his sound, it's really not a crowd meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, much better, yeah.
I don't know what happened. Everything I could hear, Howard just stopped talking in mid-sound.
Yeah,
but your sound was like...
Oh, you could hear me. Okay.
Yes,
like very deep.
Premium version.
Like,
yeah, you basically
like IMAX.
Yeah, you change your sound version or something.
I don't know what happened.
But yeah, as what I was saying is like it's trade-offs, and at the end of the day, the decision at the time was to offer more options at the cost of like losing some of the readability. And also, I don't think anyone that's outside of like this circle of people really understood that like Hive-1 is like type 1.
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't.
Like most people.
I'm sure most people in this circle did not know that.
I'm pretty sure most people talk like it's like basically DNS. Like nobody talks about Hive 111.600. They talk about like PyMapple or stuff like this.
Yeah. I certainly. I think it's a very low level detail for sure.
This is news to me. I had no idea.
Yeah, I suspect it's you and Gandalf.
I'll be complaining like for a week.
And Roadscape, wherever he's at right
please
now.
raise me an issue about this.
Yes.
Quick question. So let's say that there is someone who does a community migration. So you were talking about the post would not move to the new,
Oh no,
changes.
this was more of an example.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But just taking this, the essence of this example, the purpose isn't whether the post is moving or not. It's to understand, like what changes are happening on the back end. So let's say someone does a migration or he changes the community type. Is that overwritten in the schema, or is there a new schema generated with a new entry and the old one is like just not used?
It's, I guess it's overwritten, to use your vocabulary. We update the type. And
Okay.
to anticipate your future question, the changes are not retroactive. So it's
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
going forward.
So old operations still work, and
yeah, because like then
is
it's so easy for someone to like just like I'm going to issue like go build like one thing with 1 million posts in it and then change the type multiple times, and like that's a really easy DOS attack
Yes.
vector.
Okay. Yeah. That's exactly where I was going. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
It's as if I've answered all this question when I was building it. Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay. So as I was saying, we're kind of beginning to test all the apps in their current state, even though we've got a few more changes. And I'm talking about half app specifically here, before we do a final or start doing release candidates. But I hope to start doing release candidates this month and schedule. I'd like to actually do a release of the whole stack next month sometime. So in terms of things we've been working on recently, we're continuing to make a lot of performance improvements to HiveD and also fixing various bugs, including some related to like snapshots and things like that. So along with the release, we'd also be releasing the version of HiveD with the hard fork date. We haven't determined the final hard fork date yet, but based on a release sometime next month, we can assume the hard fork date's going to probably be November, I guess October, November time range, most likely. Let's see. So what else? Besides the various changes to HiveD, I guess one more change I'll mention about HiveD is we're also building a Swagger file for HiveD itself. So the Swagger file is where we basically have it's an interactive page you can go to try out the RPC calls directly from on a server's API server site. And we added a Swagger file for HiveD. It's not yet available on api.syncad.com, but the next time I update it will be there. And just so anybody doesn't know, api.syncad.com is like a special API server that we put out there that has like basically it's generally the developed version of the stack. So if you want to test out the calls, the developed version of everything, you can test it out on api.syncad.com. And Gandalf says for the brave and are crazy, but I will argue no. It's for anyone.
Why? I'm using that.
I hope all our developers are brave. So
yes, that's what I meant.
So I do recommend anyone who's got an app to test out their app ahead of time on api.syncad.com. Now, it's not urgent yet, but certainly once we do start putting up release candidates there, it's a good time to start testing against it, just to be sure there's no change that'll impact your app. So with regard to that, we've deployed a new half app on the api.syncad.com, which is the HiveSense app. I wrote about this at other place as a post too, but basically HiveSense is an app for it basically creates what's called vector embeddings for all the posts, and basically these are like AI created things. It gives you a way to do searching through the posts semantically. So you can type a sentence to describe a post, and it'll try to find posts that match that description. And probably what's actually more commonly going to be used actually is if you're on a post, it'll show a set of related posts. And basically these are posts that have similarities into them to the post that you're currently reading. So this can be really nice at times. So if you're reading somebody's post about something and you want to find out, like I find it very interesting. I'm reading like a development post. I can find other posts that are talk about similar things in the development space. So it's kind of a nice feature. And so that'll be available for all the apps. It's already built into Denser, the replacement we're developing for Condenser. And I think PeakD guys plan on supporting it as well pretty soon. So I'm sure some of the other guys will too as well, because it is quite a nice feature. One of the big things we had, one of the big struggles we had with HiveSense was to make sure that it didn't exceed the hardware requirements, because we are talking about generating vector embeddings, which for a whole post can be kind of expensive. So we have 2 modes at which you can use HiveSense on your API server. If you've got a GPU card available to you, you can use it to generate your vector embeddings. But if you don't, you can put HiveSense in a sync, what we call a HiveSense sync mode. And in that mode, you don't have to directly create the embeddings for the posts. It'll fetch them from another server. So you can just point to some other API server and have it just automatically fetch new embeddings as new posts are created. You'll still be creating, your server would still be creating vector embeddings for user searches when they make an API call to search for a post with the description. But those, because they're smaller, aren't so intensive. So you can just use a CPU to generate the vector embedding. You don't need a GPU for it. So practically speaking, none of the API servers will need to have the GPUs in order to have the HiveSense app. The other kind of challenge we ran into is that the indexes for these vector embedding tables are also can require a lot of memory to generate in a reasonable time. And so we messed around a lot in order to figure out how to work around that problem. And so I'll get into the details of how we did that in the post. But eventually we were able to generate those indexes with a relatively small amount of memory. So it takes about, I think, around 8, maybe 24 gigs, I think, to generate the embeddings at a fast rate. Now that's just if you want to do it fast. If you've got time to spare, say a couple days, then you can also generate it with less memory. But it does kind of push our minimum requirement to somewhere around 32 gigs for an API server right now. And anyways, we recommend typically 64 gigabytes. So it's not a big deal either way, I think. And I'm pretty sure all the API nodes out there now have at least 64 gigabytes of memory that, they're public ones. Let's see, and I doubt any of them have GPUs, so which is another reason why we made sure to have the syncing feature for HiveSense. Other stuff that we've been working on in cooperation with the McFarhat's team, we've been adding several API calls to Balance Tracker and to HapLock Explorer, and I'll probably just let him talk about those, but just to mention that we've been working quite closely with him on those and doing testing and stuff like that. And let's see, another thing that we've been doing is related to muting. So since we were talking about muting earlier, it was pointed out by a couple people that that when you mute, there were a couple places where muting it didn't actually do anything. So in your notifications, you would see stuff showing up that was muted. On your wallet, on your transfer page, you could see basically transfers from people who are muted, and so they could basically be sending memo text there. And so there's and also in voting. So when you vote it, you can see their votes still on a post. So basically, we made some changes to support catching all those places. And current API.zencat.com, that all works. We had to add a couple new API calls because some of the existing API calls didn't accept an observer parameter, and you need an observer parameter in order to mute, because basically you got to know who's looking at it in order to know who they've muted. So as part of that, we had to make a change to HAFA to recognize. So HAFA right now, you could basically, for an account, it shows all the operations that account is impacted by, which means you see not only the transactions created, the operations created by the account, but you also just see operations that affect that account. So we really didn't have data in there to tell you to separate the operations that were specifically generated by the account. And we needed that for the muting feature. So that's a new piece of information that's now added to the HAFA tables, which says, basically it's called transacting ID. And it says for each operation, it says which account actually generated the operation, which authority it was done under. So I think that'll be a generally useful feature, but specifically we needed it to effectively do muting in a high performance manner. So since we also had to add a new API call to HiveMind in order to support the muting. And since we were adding a new API call, we figured it was a good time to add our first REST call to HiveMind. So now there is a Swagger page for HiveMind where the REST calls. Right now there's exactly one REST call there. There'll be more soon as we start to create new HiveMind API calls, but we've at least got the base level there for specifying new API calls via REST calls in HiveMind. And if you go to api.syncad.com and see the drop down there for the different API sets, you'll see HiveMind is now one of those. Let's see what else. There are some changes to a couple of fixes to Beekeeper, nothing major, but we also I guess the biggest thing was we optimized the Python wrapper for Beekeeper. So Beekeeper supports both the TypeScript and Python, but the Python we found was a little slow. And while we were doing work with Clive, our command line wallet, which is a Python app, we realized that there could be some nice speed up that would speed up the startup time for Clive itself. It was taking a couple seconds just to start up. Other things, we've been making a lot of improvements to Wax. Added bindings we've basically been improving the support for Python a lot, because Wax was pretty much first implemented as TypeScript, and Python was kind of our secondary one, I guess. And now it's coming into full form, and I think it's quite useful now for Python development. One of the biggest things we did is now we've exposed the APIs we've added bindings for all the APIs for the different half apps to Wax now. And so obviously that's pretty important. Other things we've been working on, we've been improving half itself in various ways. Right now, we're working on a pruning version of half, which will keep just recent history. So this is somebody who wants to run a more lightweight half, and lightweight in terms of storage. I mean, that's what the pruning versions. It's still experimental. It's not yet ready, but it is under development. We fixed a crash in what we call Supervisor. It's an add-on extension you can use to limit the amount of database activity that's done by a call. And that's actually, we don't use that right now really in any of our apps. It's primarily intended for when we get to the smart contract system there, where we need to be able to limit abusive contracts from eating up too much resources. Let's see what else. That's all I can think of at the moment. There's plenty else going on, of course. I guess I haven't talked about any of the UI apps, but I haven't got a report on those, and most of those I'm not working with closely. I'm more working on the backend stuff, so I'll probably write a post to report more on the UI side, and I think the backend stuff is probably more interesting to you guys anyways. So anyone else like to talk next?
Just 2-3 questions I want to follow up.
Sure.
The first one is the MetaMask wallet integration. What's the update on that? The second one is the Rosetta, the mesh for Coinbase.
Okay, so I'll take those in order, and then I'll hand them off. So the MetaMask thing, we've added support in MetaMask in 2 places. First, in Wax itself, and secondly, there's also an actual website, which is like a wallet. And I'll send a link to that afterwards. I just had I just had someone do testing on it, and they only reported 1 error. So, and it was very minor. It was just basically approving an error message. So, I think the MetaMask wallet site is actually, the UI for that's pretty good. Now there's one thing that's left, is that if you're talking about making it official, we did get back some minor changes that the MetaMask team wanted, which we made, just minor improvements, and we're basically just waiting on them to put the okay on that for it to be, I think, officially listed as part of the implementations, MetaMask wallet implementations. But it all works now.
How long was the last? How long has it been since the last communication with them?
It wasn't that long ago. I don't really know because I'm not in that loop. I don't know. Gandalf, do you know by any chance?
I guess 2 days
What's
ago.
A few days
2
ago.
days.
days
Okay.
ago.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So they finally responded because their processes are really long. Because most
So was the last response from us or from them?
From
You don't
what I
know.
remember, Bartek said that he sees finally some moves on their side because the responded team that it's responsible for the official listing.
Okay.
So I guess soon.
Okay. So the last response sounds like probably was from them. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and we're just waiting probably at this point because I know we didn't have anything to do. That I'm sure of.
Yes. For a long time, he's just waiting, and Bartek was worried that they are like not responding, and wasn't sure if they are not responding because it's stuck somewhere or whatever. And finally, after like being bugged over and over and again, they responded. So it's in the
Okay.
process of acceptance.
Got it. Anyways, like I said, there is an actual site you can test a lot of the functionality, and like I said, seems like it's working pretty well. Let's see. We've also got a new version of the Clive wallet was released recently. I haven't yet played with it. I don't know, Gandalf, did you ever get a chance to play with the latest version yet?
Of what?
Clive.
Oh yeah, I use it all the time. So
Okay.
it works. I mean, the things that works.
That's
Yeah,
good.
I mean, there are some missing features that
Yeah,
I would
no, I
like
know.
to see,
Yeah,
but
I know.
CLI is mostly completed. There are few missing commands that I'll be bugging the Bartek's team soon. Day after tomorrow, I will have a chance. Without Bartek, please don't record that.
You know we don't have any control over that. But I doubt he'll listen anyways. As long as the
Yeah.
AI summary doesn't catch it, you're fine.
No, we are just teasing. Yeah, but CLI, the main annoying issue is that it's slow, but yeah, work in progress. And two is nice for basics that people could like use it in their Windows console in a secure way, as much as it can be on Windows.
So I know they were doing some speed ups related to the Pydantic stuff. Were you testing the version with that or before that was done? Or do you know?
It's present continuous, I guess. So,
Okay.
I don't know if
Okay.
it's already done.
I guess the other thing you've been testing some is Denser. How's that looking right now?
No, way better. So actually, I think that we could try to make a widget on the Hive blog site to say like, hey, try the new version.
Okay.
Soon. One thing I want to try before that is to stress test the new version. Today I will be deploying current develop to the address that I provided, which is this blog Open Hive network. It's detached from CI because there was automatic deployment before, and now I manually semi-manually deploy it to my production server to have like full control of what's going on.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay. Let's see. And okay, there was another question which was about HiveMind, about the mesh stuff. And
Yeah,
as
Roger,
I,
the coin
how I laughed that I'll hand it off because he knows that he's the guy who answers those questions.
Yeah, well, speaking of the Mesh API, not much has changed. As far as I know, we are waiting for Coinbase to be back to us, which is very slow, as per usual. But also, I mean, there is some extra stretch thing we could do. I know they have like a whole texting framework, and they probably would like us to implement that. But it's like more work, and now that like the base thing is done, for us to get like the foot in the door, I'd like for them to come back to us before we sink more time into it.
Okay. Same question as before. What's the last communication like? How long has it been since they've responded?
I don't actually know because I'm not the one doing the discussions there. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm assuming it's been about a month.
Wow. Okay. Are they normally that slow?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Gandalf can attest that any exchange discussion is a pain.
Oh, yeah.
So is there like any way to escalate anything, or are we just stuck until they get back to us?
We cannot like we can double text, triple text, but like at the end of the day, we are asking for a listing. So most of the time that and on top of it, we're asking for a free listing. So that's always like
Yeah. Okay.
it's
that complicated.
it's almost a negotiation at this point. So that's why we are going the extra mile in like spending time implementing like their API for them, so they don't have to spend engineering time. But still, I mean, but also like I don't know as much about this topic as like Gandalf or Krim, because I'm not the one handling the negotiations usually. So I'm not like the expert in the room.
That's fine. It's just the purpose is to just like record everything to know what has happened and everything, and so on. Just to clarify, so have they been receptive at least to the changes that we have made? Like we have implemented the API for them, and have they been receptive to that, or it's just like
Well, I guess the better question is, do they have a verification process?
As far as I know, I think they do. The issue is like basically the API is like a requirement for the first for the submission. I know that basically at the time when we implemented the Rosetta API, now called Mesh API, it was like a requirement. Like you cannot even make a submission to them unless you implemented it. I know that a lot of teams protested about it, and that's why now it's no longer a requirement, but more like it's nice if you do it thing. So I know we submitted, but I don't know much more about the whereabouts of that.
Okay, so we don't know that they've done a check of the library.
Yeah, I'm expecting that once they actually check it, etc., maybe we'll have to do some changes to it. But and at this point, I'll work as fast as possible to fix it, obviously.
Is there any way we can fast track the verification thing, or is it just that we're stuck waiting for them like forever?
We're not stuck forever, but also like we have to be realistic. Like we are not like the biggest chain, and we like it's still a business. Like at the end of the day, they care about how much volume we bring in, etc. And obviously a chain which will have like much more volume, that's more like hype these days, quote unquote, we'll see like a faster processing time and skip the queue, let's say. And also there is a bit of like let's say mystic to not mystic, but like a bit of like, not, I don't want to say luck, but like they do.
I think luck's the word.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Basically, they do list some strange stuff sometimes. Like they did list like Fartcoin, and so it's sometimes it's not really about the fundamentals in how much work you put in, and sometimes it's just about like whatever is like strikes the fancy of the guy at the time. And to be fair, all of these coins had the massive advantage of not being like an L1 blockchain and just being like, oh yeah, you like, we are already integrated with Ethereum or Solana, so like it's literally like implementing support for that one smart contract, which they already do. So like I think they are much more cautious about adding more L1 blockchain, because like that requires actually more resources. Mm-hmm. And like audits, obviously.
Yeah, it's trivial to add another L2 coin once you've got the basic L2 coins for any chain. That's true.
So just to cover all the bases, do we know anyone in Coinbase, or is this just we are following the process?
No, we have contacts with just about all the exchanges. So yeah, we have contacts. They have people that are basically liaisons for blockchains.
Okay, okay. And I'm assuming they are all in the communication and we're just now waiting for luck.
Yeah, I think that's
I mean,
somewhat
pretty much,
exactly.
and also like at the end of the day, one thing to say, like, this is a bit of a moonshot. Like it's being listed on Coinbase would be incredibly beneficial for the chain, but like we're already listed on like on like very big exchanges, and being listed on Coinbase would be very very good, but it is still like kind of a moonshot. Like it's a project we went into thinking this would be really good, and hopefully we get that working, but it's not like a requirement per se.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. I get that. But the whole thing why I believe we've had to go to this Coinbase side is because Blocktrade's turned his side off because that was the go-to thing in North America when someone wanted to change stuff.
Oh, I
But
see.
now
Yeah.
that's so now that's been turned off. So there's one faucet that has been turned off, and that's why there's a whole concentration towards the Coinbase side of things. So the sooner that gets done, great. Or Blocktrade could just start up his site, but I think that's too much of a pain
Yeah,
for
it's
him.
true, Dan. Why don't you get your site up again?
I could. They certainly the regulatory environment certainly is relaxed a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, for now, I guess. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, for now.
I was just joking about it.
I know you are. Of course, the other thing is that I have to deal with the regulatory environment of Caymans too, and they were just getting to be such a pain in the neck. Okay.
Oh well, yeah, all in due time then.
Yeah.
So I guess McFarhat, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. All right, so let's give some updates. I'll start first from the UI. So in terms of the Block Explorer UI, we've been quite busy on this end. First thing, I guess it's the topic of the day, communities. So we just recently added support for communities on Block Explorer. So there's now support under the account that hosts a community. You can see community details, relevant data, subscribers, and so on and so forth. This is for the single community page view. We also added a searchable communities page where you can view all communities, view their details, search and filter. We also have a mini communities widget that is also available now on the landing page with the most top communities. We also added a proposals page into the Block Explorer that contains the DHF proposals, a chart showing the funding status. It's still being worked on for a few additional details, but yeah, so far it's working. We've added into the user's balance history. We've added a dollar value display that shows the value of Hive, Vests, HBD. It also goes back based on the historical data of Hive. If there's, for example, let's say Hive price was at 1.0.5, say a year ago, so the value financially or the monetary value will actually reflect this when you're seeing the balance of the user a year ago. So it's not all based on the current price of Hive. We added visually a new menu for all the new components, communities, proposals, witnesses. We've improved the votes model, voters, votes history to support user search, pagination. We've added some new chart. We're also working on another new chart for the voters history. There were improvements to the account page display with miniature details and a revamp of the votes and the communities. There's also new models showing the followers, the following, the communities for every account. This is generally about the UI changes. Also, as Dan mentioned, there were several changes on the API side of things, the back end. So we finalized a new API endpoint for account proxies. This was recently merged, so it's not available yet. So for any account that is receiving proxies, will show back the account, the proxy date, the proxy amount. Also was recently added the rich list endpoints, so top holders. You can already test this out on api.syncat.com. It's available. We've also added to the account balance the account conversions, so the amounts under conversion, the amounts under orders. Still, we need to add the escrow and savings. The dev wasn't able to work on these because of the 5 million block limitation. There are no transactions whatsoever in escrow and savings up till block 5 million. So we're actually setting up a new node, just like you guys did with the developed version. So I want to get my team also access so that they test their branches on a public node which has all the blocks, so that they can actually work on things like this.
You can use MirrorNet node, and it will save you a lot of time and resources to do that.
But he just wants the most recent version. He's talking about using the developed version of the apps.
Yeah.
For the
exactly.
Yeah. So one of the things I will mention is that we have for the. I'll ask Howell, because I think he's probably the best equipped to answer this. But couldn't they create a MOX for the escrow, or does it support MOX for? Is it only support MOX for Hivebind type calls? Do you know, Howell? No, maybe he stepped away. Oh no, there he is.
He's trying to talk.
Sorry, because I have the whole setup to like mute myself when I'm. Sorry, what did you say?
So there's no escrows in the first 5 million blocks. I guess the MOX can only be used probably for the custom JSON, or is that true? Or
yeah, you can totally mock it.
So we can mock an escrow call too.
Yeah, I mean at the end of the day, the Hivebind is not making any checks on it. So and like nothing is really making any checks on it. You could push a recurrent transfer on block 1. And I don't think it would be an issue.
So I guess the problem would be, though, I don't know how the mocks slip in. I mean, it probably won't work because the mocks are probably all strictly for Hivemind. I don't think it's probably built into the base thing.
It is, though, isn't it? Like when you push
I don't know.
It pushes it into half.
Okay, if it puts it into an actual block, then we could probably do that.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, yeah, it does push it into half, and then Hivemind pulls from... Oh, wait.
Well, can you look into it and check and contact McFarhat afterwards? So just so you understand, for Hivemind, at least McFarhat, we have a way to basically introduce additional things that didn't happen in the first 5 million blocks. So for testing purposes, and that's what we do for a lot of the stuff for Hivemind. We just introduce these extra, we call them mock data, because in order to test the kind of thing you're talking about.
If that's feasible, I think this will be great. Yeah, I mean, both for escrow and for savings, because also savings, there are no transactions in the first.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't want to do it for both of them, I think. So anyways, how will look and see that?
I just looked into it. It does populate half. So then that's good.
Okay, so that doesn't mean I'm not going to discourage you from setting up a full development site too, but replaying a full development site takes quite a lot of time.
I know, but I love having it either way. I mean, whether we do the mock or not, because it will make it easier just to make sure that everything works.
Absolutely, and you see performance issues when you have a full.
Absolutely.
But on the other hand, it's also nice to have it in the 5 million blocks for quick testing too.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. Okay, so what else? Let me see. I guess, conversions, the half node. I'm probably adding a couple of more devs also to my team. So maybe one handling front end, one handling back end. I really love that we're getting more eyes and hands on development in the Hive. So I'm really proud to be just growing the team and just contributing more, hopefully. The last couple of points is about the health checker. So we're just adding translation support also, because health checker is used on two front ends which support translations or tokenized content, Dancer and Block
I
Explorer
was
UI.
sorry. I was talking about the translations with the Dancer team recently, and I'm not a fan these days of like spending too much effort on translations and doing translations in house, because the tools, LLMs, are really good at that, and probably soon enough people will just what's built in the browser, and it will be more than good enough. I think currently it's even good enough, except for like some really platform specific stuff like Hive Power or something. But I wouldn't spend too much time. I suggested that to the Dancer team, that let's just leave it as is, and we will see how things develop. Because it's always better if other people do our job for us. So
yeah, I hear you. I mean, eventually the way we're translating stuff is via AI. I mean, we don't have anyone who speaks all these 12 languages.
I assumed that's what you're doing too. So I
mean,
a static.
So,
I don't think a static text. It's not a lot of work. I mean, to do that kind of translation.
Exactly. And we're just gonna throw, even Health Checker, it has, I don't know how many tokens. It's just very simple and small.
Yeah, it's not.
So we just wanted, to properly align whatever your language you're using for the front end. It's gonna reflect properly in Health Checker, instead of just seeing English content in your, I don't know, French language or whatever language you're using.
Okay, so basically you pass the piece of information down to Health Checker so that it can, and then
absolutely.
Okay, excellent.
Absolutely. And probably the last thing is about a question maybe about with the Half Block Explorer. So with the block search functionality, we used to support path filter, path filter searches, like you're trying to filter out on a certain certain value inside your transaction. So I guess for now, all the API nodes do not have a block search indices. Is this on purpose? Is it too troubling? Does it take too much size to set these things? Because I was thinking of expanding some of the search capability to have on the UI, I mean, to support some of this work.
That's a good question, and I don't actually know the state. I know we're building some indexes now in Block Explorer by default, because their own API at Syncat.com. So I guess the question to know if they're enabled right now, check and see if they work on API at Syncat.com.
They're not. Yeah, they're not.
Okay.
They're not.
And that means those indexes are still disabled, because I know we have some that are. Okay, so we have some that are and some that aren't.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll review it again. I'm sure I, in fact, didn't like having those indexes around, and that's why they're disabled. Because I just wasn't sure they were worth the point. But if we're finding if we are finding there's a need for them, they can of course be brought back.
Okay. Cool. All right. Yeah, I guess this is really it from my end. Thank you.
Okay, I did have a question, which was, you mentioned the community stuff in the UI. Which is there a site? Is there a hosted site that has that now?
I haven't pushed anything yet. I was just waiting for a final change today from one of the devs to push it. I'll probably push something, if not to Test Explorer, probably to HiveScan. So maybe by today I'll be able to push this. I'll update you.
Whenever you get it, I was thinking you could maybe tag Hao, since he's doing, he's been doing a lot of community stuff too. He could take a look at it.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Let's see. I guess that's probably it for today then.
I would like to give a quick update.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. So, quick changes what we've done on the promote.hive site. The first thing is we have included, I'm giving the links here. It takes a little bit time to load, but that's because we've just included virtual tables to, make the loading really fast once loading is done. It still takes around 10 to 20 seconds to load. So this is the onboarder retention. What we've added to this is obviously all of the before, just retained, retention by HP, retention by activity, retained, not retained, good HP balance, accounts, and then we've added the blacklisted part. the accounts which are blacklisted by Spaminator, the marquee mark list, and the ActiveFit list. And what this does is basically it shows you that, okay, if this onboarder, how many of these accounts are blacklisted. Now, if someone wants to take the details of the accounts that are blacklisted, you would just click on the onboarder. And once you click on the onboarder, it would take around 5 to 10 seconds, depending on your internet, and then what you would do with it would show you the link like this. So this is a very dynamic link. You can just put in any person, any onboarder, and it would give you the full list. And in this list, you would see that there are certain account names that have skulls beside it. That shows that account is blacklisted according to the respective blacklists. So this is for the year 2005. It's not currently up to date because we were including virtual tables and we were having some problem with the newer data. We've been scraping data from Hive SQL, and we're putting it in our own database, and it's great. And now it's become so big that it's become a monster for us to just keep relying on free tools to keep working it, but we're still doing it. So the virtual tables has basically allowed us from going from abstract view to detailed view in it takes like 0.3 milliseconds for it to go from abstract to detailed. In the onboarder retention, we are now
so I'm assuming you mean 300 milliseconds.
Yes, 300 milliseconds, you're correct. Yes. So that's virtual tables is like an amazing thing that we've discovered. We learned how to implement it, and it makes it doesn't matter if you have 180,000 entries. It just it's just really nice. The another thing that we've done is we've included a blacklist page so that people can go in to the respective this link that I've pasted. And once you go into the blacklist page, you have filters. These filters will show you, okay, you know what, this is just with the Spaminator, or this just with TMM. And this way, what you can do is for people who are running the Spaminator, and for instance, they want to do a comparison with TMM, so they are not able to, it's a hassle for them to do that comparison. But if they were to use the filters, then they would be able to do it where if you just click on the TMM, it would show you the accounts that are only in the TMM, the marquee mate, but it's not in ActiveFit and not in Spaminator. And then what you can do is you can download that as text, or you can download that as CSV, and then you can use that to import it into your own respective database. So I know Spaminator is using text files, and the CSV is just there just in case someone wants to use it to do some analysis. Besides that, we have again implemented the virtual table that has basically, again, a 300 millisecond change from abstract to details, and it's completely full. We've also added dynamic search so that you can go into the searching and you can just add respectively whoever you want to search for, and it would update accordingly as soon as you start typing in. That was for this. Moving on, we are going to be within this month. In the next month, our target is to include an accounts created page, which will show you the latest accounts created according to the onboarder and the timestamp, the block number. The only difference that it's going to have compared to others is that it will state whether the onboarder is blacklisted or not. And the second thing is, if you click on the onboarder's name, it will show you all the accounts he has created in 2025. Again, if you want it for 2024, you just need to, in the endpoint, you just need to write 2024, and it will show you all the 2024 data. And that's one of the things. The other things that we are going to do is we're going to check the onboarder integrity. So we have onboarders who are just onboarding and extracting out of the system. We want to see if there are people, onboarders, who are, putting in as much as they want to take out. Well, because that's the onboarders we want to, reward. It's not just, we don't want to just start rewarding onboarders who onboard people and use them as an extraction machine, which, by the way, is a pattern that I've noticed, and I've already brought it to notice of the fraud and abuse side of things. So that's this. That's the onboarder respective part of things. And in user retention, we have added charts. Hold on, let me just more charts that will provide more information. User retention is different from onboarder retention. The onboarder retention, is showing the stats of the onboarder in 2025, how they're performing in 2024, whereas the user retention is showing detailed information about the respective users and who they've been onboarded by, when their account was created, what was the HB balance, what is the HBD savings as of the respective date. Now we've put in the date and we want to make it more dynamic. We haven't gotten around to it because we were having performance issues within the site itself, which we are hoping to resolve within this month. And then what we will have is the consistent case of cron jobs that are being run specifically.
What database are you using, out of curiosity?
Sorry?
What database are you using?
We're using MongoDB.
MongoDB, okay.
Yeah, and we've started. Sorry, yeah, Gandalf.
Oh, so that's the actually big topic, because as someone who wants to have bad guy lists, but what it matters for me is if it's just a spammer or is it a scammer or account that was used for phishing attacks. So, for example, if I provide a list of bad guys to Exchange, I want to tell them if any transfers goes from those guys, you should block because AML and KYC, MTV, whatever. But I don't want them to feed them with just people who are spamming or extracting content rewards. That's a whole different type of abusers.
Yeah.
So having this category like tag for example, Alice is a spammer and a scammer, but Bob just spams. And it's of course bad, but I won't tell exchanges to block Bob because Bob is not a criminal. He's just asshole.
He's just annoying.
Yes.
So the biggest problem that I've had with this is this originally was I've reached out to Logic, I've reached out to the other guys that you guys are marking whether it's a scammer or whether it's a spammer, whether you have a separate list. The problem is some of the guys are keeping separate lists, but it's not a complete list. It's it's a very incomplete list. It's like cherry picking. They're taking, okay, you know what? This was a chain of people we caught transferring amount to the Max Hive account, right? The Max Hive account meaning the fake one, and so we have listed them as a scam. So I'm trying to find a way around that, and that is basically through this onboarder integrity thing. I will be able to start establishing patterns on which user is going to be a spammer and which user is going to be a scammer. I'm still in discussions with Logic around how I can get around this problem because Marky is not marking anything. He's not looking at it as a scammer or a spammer. He's just saying, he's just zeroing accounts, and he hasn't. He's been doing it for.
All are equal, yes.
Yeah, I mean, they have been doing this for so long, they don't even remember why this person was, blacklisted in the first place. So what you're asking me is very logical. The problem is for me to get around that, it's going to take me a bit of a time until I work that out. So once I do figure it out, I will be the first person to get you that list, provided no one else does it before me. But you'd have to give me a bit of time to work this out because you can look at the blacklist, right?
Yes, of course, those blacklists has value as is. Those extra tags to account names are just useful metadata that I could use.
Yes, but problem is not some of the most in Spaminator, they haven't released separated scam with spam. In certain places they have, but in a large amount of places they have not. You have to understand, as the Spaminator endpoint is just names. There is nothing else in it.
So there are some metadata here. For example, in the chat, I placed.
Yeah. So this says that this is blacklisted. The skull shows blacklisted. The S is that it's in Spaminator. and T is that in the TMM, the marquee mark list. This user is blacklisted in 2 blacklist accounts: the Spaminator
so
and
the skull means he is blacklisted, and S and C
yes,
are just okay. So
S is
so
Spaminator and a T is the marquee marks list.
that's good because so it means that there are already technical means to store such
Yeah, but
information.
again, it doesn't solve your problem because you don't know which one is a spam and which one is a scam, and that's what I need to solve.
Yeah, but
So
that's
I am
just
going to work.
as it goes. Those new accounts could be tagged. Like I also will be providing. Well, I am
Okay.
providing some basic lists, but it's actually uh, the source was from probably those lists that you are using.
Oh,
So
okay.
it will be.
Okay, let me
Uh,
check this out.
Yeah, but that's another story. So I wanted something to aggregate, and if I will have those metadata for accounts, I could do it better.
Okay, let me check this out, and if I have more questions, I'll DM you. Is that fine?
Yeah. Just don't worry about it for
Yeah.
now. Just
Okay. So the
like
other thing that we've done is we provided a backend. We provided an endpoint for users. So there are certain curation projects that were basically requesting that because they're running a bot that does curation, they wanted to first be able to check whether an account is blacklisted before they can do, curation for it. So we made that, and as you can see, if you click on the value plan project backend.virtual.app, this is just a temporary name. We will be transferring it to the proper domain soon. If you click on it, you can see that we are adding whether the blacklist is true or not. Plus, we're adding it to the list as well. So, for instance, I know that in certain cases, there are certain curators who are more partial towards the marquee marks list as opposed to the spaminator. So they want to just check against the marquee marks list. So we provided that option as well. So you can just query accordingly and you can do it. So this way, what we have done is we have helped at least 3 curation projects. One is Tip Fox, a few other guys, and now they're using this actively. So this is the stuff we have done so far, and there's a lot more coming up. The rest is the value plan stuff, reporting and everything, but I don't think that's relevant to this conversation. Yeah, so this is what we've done so far. The onboarder wallet status is basically going to have this format. Um, so this is just the backend is not connected yet. We're still working on that. We hope to get it done. So what will happen is you will select our onboarder. The onboarder, the data that will show once the day the account was created, how much has been put in and how much has been taken out, and then it will do a balance between them and give you the exact metrics of the performance of that particular onboarder. So then you know if that onboarder is someone who is putting into Hive instead of just extracting. Yeah, that's it from my side. Anyone has questions, great. If not, then that is also fine.
Okay. Anyone else has anything?
Yeah, now I do have one other thing that I do need. It's a problem that I need a solution for. And just using this as a brainstorming session. So I have a game that's going to go on Google Play soon, and one of the things that I've been asked from the Google team is how do you verify logins to the blockchain account? The initial idea I had was I could, because it's an Android app, I could have people put in their respective keys to verify the account, right? Obviously, things will be running on the back end, on my own back end for the game data and everything, but just to verify. The problem is no one wants to put in the keys because they're afraid I will post something from their side or I will do something on that. So on that end, is there anything right now in Hive that I could use to verify a user? Maybe a dummy key, a key that it's a private key, but it doesn't do anything if I have access to it. It's just just for verification? Is
But
there anything like that?
you want to have that key? Because if I have a key,
No, he wants
on my device-
somebody to be enter a key to prove
To
who they are.
verify, yes, that they prove that this is his account, because right now this is
Yeah,
the
so you
yeah.
are sending me a message and I'm signing it with whatever key I want and sending you, and you check with my public key if it
Yeah.
was
So
me
the most likely thing
signed.
would be like your posting key or something like that, something
Yeah.
low, relatively
And
low.
in the future, specialized key for your game.
Yeah. So in the future, which is not what you're asking, but in the future, we're actually supporting. Yeah, we'll have individual keys that you can create for your game, and we'll even have it so you can sign in at a very low security, just with like your Google account.
Mm-hmm. Right now, the problem that I'm having, I mean, I've already said it, but it's like to be very clear. If someone creates an account in my game, the name Block Trades, right? I want to be able to, for him or that person to be able to verify that account with Block Trades on the Hive account, right?
Yeah.
But
So what you could use right now would be the posting key. You could ask them to enter their posting
yes,
key.
but that's the problem. See, the users first, because it goes on Google Play, the majority of the users are going to be Web 2, because this is basically coming in as an onboarding.
Okay, so
like the internet
you would
should
want
onboard.
to make sure that Gandalf in your game, if he claims that he's from Hive, you need to be sure that it was actually Gandalf from Hive.
Well, it doesn't matter what their username is. What I need to know is that when they want to withdraw from, for instance, their like in-game currency, they want to withdraw to crypto, it does it to the right place. Right now, I'm having a very roundabout way to do it, which is that they have to do it through the website and sign it through the keychain. But I want it to be done through the Android app itself, so that it's not a problem where they're playing with the game on the Android app and then they have to log into the computer, log into the website, and that's a very bad user experience. I've already I've already discussed it and I've taken
So,
feedback.
but you're just talking about. Are you just talking about withdrawing money from this account to the
Right
Hive?
now, the withdrawing thing is secondary. It's the verification part of it. If I'm able to verify even one time that this account does belong to Gandalf, right? Okay, enter the posting key. Problem is they don't want to enter the posting key.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
I'm not going to give you any key, but you ask me, okay, if you want my game to know that Gandalf is
it just has to be signed.
Yes, so I can put in my
yeah, but here's the problem,
of my
Gandalf.
account.
So here's the problem, though. He wants to do the signing with his app.
Oh.
Yes, that is the problem. If there was a dummy key that I could use, but I know that's a problem. Like that dummy scheme, you would have to change all the schemas. You have to create it for every account. I know that's a nightmare. I can't even just think about the logistics is a nightmare. But
So
that's the thing.
What we'd allow in the future is that you could potentially tie a social account to your account, but we don't have that yet.
Is there a temporary solution that could be made? Something that is a temporary thing. I don't know, a bunch of randomly generated digits that's just used for verification of an account. People just have to put that number. It could be a number that keeps randomly randomly changing.
I don't really know how to do what you're saying, because you inevitably you have to enter. Yeah, you're trying to just create a temporary key. I mean, a key that's doesn't do anything.
Yes.
But we don't have a key that doesn't do anything. I mean,
All
the closest you could go was their memo key. But the other thing you got to worry about is how many of these accounts might have multiple keys that are the same key. So they may not have a posting key that's not also their active key.
Is that a possibility, considering the digits on those things?
Well, it depends how you create the account. You can put whatever keys you want associated with an account. So it is possible to have. I don't know what I'd imagine most of the account creation apps now use separate keys for each key, but it's totally up to whoever's creating the account as to how they do it.
Okay, so the plan for the future is essentially that each app gets its respective key that I can use then to send the signature, and they sign it, and then it gets sent, and then they can verify it. Is that how it is?
That's right. So that's basically part of the second layer. The second layer app, the second layer transactions in Lite account stuff is all about doing just that.
Okay.
Also, maybe write a post with detailing detailed plan what you are trying to achieve and what you are looking for. And
yeah, that would,
try to,
because right now, for if I'm a gamer, I know most of you are not. From a gaming perspective, all the games that are made are either cross platform and are majorly being used on the mobile because of how easy it is. And that's why I've made the game cross-platform and I made it on mobile. But the problem right now is the login thing.
Yeah.
Right
so
now,
I mean, what we're planning, I think, would be perfect for you, because basically you'd be able to associate your Google or your Facebook account with your Hive account, and then they could just sign in with their Facebook account, and you could check that Facebook account or Google account is tied to a Hive account. So it would perfectly solve what you're looking for. And we've tested we've actually got prototype technology for it. We proved it all works. It's just we haven't released that app yet. So that app isn't scheduled till near the end of this year.
Oh, okay, that's pretty far. Okay, so I will keep using the roundabout way. The roundabout way that I'm using right now is you should use the exact same name as your Hive account when you're creating an account. So basically, then you can do a check against the name. Problem again for that is it's first come first serve. Like I could come and create a Gandalf account, and then Gandalf tries to create his account. He's like, "Hey,
yeah, I think I'd say do that for now and wait till the better solution comes along."
Okay. So right now, because I'm scheduled to release the app on Google Play, this month, I've been delaying it for a little bit of time because I'm trying to get around some problems connecting with Hive. I've had to daisy chain the whole thing. Right. So if I were to release the app and everything, there is a whole other barrier I have in terms of, okay, so we have Web 2 players coming in. They can play the game. They can do everything in the game. They don't have to do anything. It's just when they want to turn the in-game currency into crypto, they will have to create a Hive account.
Mm-hmm.
So from that perspective, I'm also having a problem of how do I get them to create accounts in terms of onboarder and everything.
So are you? Yeah, I mean, your choice is, I guess, to use an existing onboarder or do the onboarding.
Yeah,
yourself.
The problem is the existing onboard is not like there's cases of abuse and there's cases of other problems.
Yeah, I mean, so are you going to? I mean, how are you going to pay for their account comes to be the question.
Yes, that's one. The other thing is the verification part. If I'm going to use another onboarder, I don't know how the performance is going to be like of this user. Like this user is mine, right? But I'm onboarding him through, let's say, LeoVoter, or I'm onboarding him through OCD. Well, but it shows the stats, but I don't know if he like he's my user, how he's performing, what kind of post he's doing. So there's that problem as well. I've been discussing, and I was thinking that maybe I could force all the people who are being onboarded to put me as a referral, but that doesn't work because they might forget, or they're creating extra accounts, or they don't know, or they are not like getting around the UI. Maybe they're creating it through another place where a referral is not available. So that is another barrier that I have, where I am unable to basically create KPIs against the people I've onboarded because I'm using some other onboarder.
And yeah, I mean, honestly, if I was doing it, I would be onboarding them myself.
Yes, but I don't have that much Hive. I don't have that much RC.
Yeah, but those users will be using your game, so
yeah. Is your game free? I guess that's the next question.
Yeah, it's free play. It's free to play. Okay. Free to create an account, right? But the account you first create would be like something like a temp account or Lite account.
So is it free to play or is it freemium?
No, it's free to play. You are absolutely, you can do everything in the game. You don't even need a crypto account to do anything in the game. You can play the whole game.
Yeah, so the Hive account can be like premium something, because the account actually costs something. If not directly through Hive, then indirectly those stupid tokens that we should get rid of. But
I mean, we have in-app purchases. So I was thinking that in-app purchases, just like you have stuff to pay $2 to remove ads. You could have
Yeah,
$5
that's yeah,
able to
exactly.
withdraw.
That's what I would do.
But then how? But then again, the problem is the KPI. Let's say I get $5. I have to convert that to crypto, convert it to Hive, stake that Hive, and then I'm able to create an account. Is that how it works?
No, you just
No,
pay
you
3 Hive for
You pay 3
account.
Hive.
Pay 3 Hive. Okay, but who would be the onboarder?
Whoever creates the account, you will be. You pay 3 Hive, you create the account for them.
Okay.
So you used your account to create their account, and you pay 3 Hive.
Okay, I get it now. And this would be through which? Is there like a
It's an API. It's literally a transaction.
an API? Okay, could you just please kindly direct me to that API? I mean, it's a very basic thing that I'm asking. I know it's just I haven't concentrated on this section for a long time. We're doing so much of the other stuff that I didn't think about this.
Yeah, I mean, there's several sites that have all the code for doing this. You can Wax, I imagine. Do you know if Wax supports account creation? I'd imagine it does. It's got other transactions.
No, it's sending you somewhere else.
What's sending you?
Yeah,
it's sending you
account creation. Also, we have this Hive bridge that has a new nice flow to create an account. I will send you links on the chat. It would be faster.
And you can just look at the code at those places. So
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Ask AI, and it'll answer your questions about it.
That's fine. So this was like a problem I was having. Thank you guys for entertaining me.
Sure, no problem. I've actually got to go because I've got another meeting at 3. So
yeah, but I think it's all now.
Yeah, I think we're all done.
Yeah, we are. We're out of time.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
See you.
Thank you. See you.